actually surprised how many people we managed to bring to this group. There are like 15 kids that are signed up. It's like something that's very groundbreaking, I think, in Israel. So that's one of the things. Another thing that we recently opened is an information center about everything and anything trans, how to get hormones, other health issues, how to deal with social security, and all kinds of, and even just listening to people and whatever problems they might have. It's open for trans people and friends and family, and therapists or whoever wants to come. Yesterday we actually hosted Dr. Marcy Bowers. If you know, she's from the States and she's a very prominent surgeon, and it was very amazing. And one of the things that we've been doing, we're mentioning all these ministries, is working with the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Interior. I don't know if you're aware about trans issues here. Some things, actually most of the things are much better than in the United States. It's very easy to change your name. It's actually no big deal. I think it's harder to pay a parking ticket than it is to change your name. Changing sex on your documents is difficult because it requires bottom surgery. Surgeries here are supposedly funded, but in reality the bureaucracy is so difficult that nobody bothers to do it. And also there was a surgeon that was very bad, and now he went on sabbatical for a year. So that's one of the reasons that Dr. Marcy Bowers was here. One of the things that's happening next week, like every year, we're having the Transgender Day of Remembrance, and this year the organizers, it's been open for organization for the entire community, and this time we said no, we're not letting the entire community organize this, so only women, trans women in sex work are organizing it, and it's going to be amazing. I think one of the, unfortunately, we don't have much to do in the Day of Remembrance because in Israel there are no murders each year. There have been a long time ago, but there are no murders of trans people. It's not that things are perfect here, but there's a lot less violence. There's other forms of violence. Other things. There's transgender employment empowerment program that we're going to start in the beginning of the year, together with Social Security, which will be, I think, amazing because we want to, rather than, there's all these programs that talk about offering other options for trans women in sex work, for transgender youth that are in either homeless or almost homeless. And one of the things that we want to provide is really, can you say English?
Fulfill your dreams.
Yeah, fulfill your dreams. Like
Make-A-Wish Foundation type of thing.
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. And so that's very exciting. Another thing, I don't know if if you've seen Beto or yeah, it's okay, next one. So there's a hostel for youth, and many of the youth there are trans, and youth that ran away from home or got kicked out. And the moment they're 18, at least the trans youth have nowhere to go to because homeless shelters and other facilities are segregated. So we're going to have
Transit apartment.
transit apartment, thank you. Also, in a few months, together with the municipality, which I think is amazing. And other than that, one of the things that we deal with is trying to work with the existing organizations and get more trans issues inside. For example, our youth group, we're doing it in coordination also with IGI. I just started volunteering in Koshen, and I'm in good contact here with Nomi from Tigades. And
Very small.
yeah, next week I'm going to go over to the open house in Jerusalem. Jerusalem and try to talk about to make the open house more accessible for the trans population and community. Because I think many of the organizations are lacking, the LGBT organizations are lacking sometimes when it comes to the T, probably also from the United States. Blah, blah, I think that's it. So things are really exciting because like Avi mentioned, the doors are opening and things that we were once impossible to get then are happening. And I think there'll be very big change very quickly soon.
Can I just say one more thing? Just to don't, things are missing with the T and the B in many.
I'm just in charge of the
Yeah, I
TI.
know. In many organizations, but we're noticing a shift in recent years. So each and every organization is trying to cater more to the transgender and bisexual community and bring more transgender and bisexual people to work with gays and lesbians. So it's really starting to feel like, at least in parts of the community, it's really becoming the LGBT community and not the gay and lesbian community. So there is a very positive change in that respect that we're trying to work together.
Any questions for Alicia? Alicia,
If you
just a minute.
Sorry,
Just a minute.
okay.
Yes.
Well, and this is something that could be answered at the end. But what are some concrete ways that we can partner with the work that you're doing here? What are some ways that we could partner with the work that you're doing here and support?
I can read out.
Oh,
I don't know, we should talk about it.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just curious, 'cause I work with homeless youth, and I'm just curious about ways beyond that. I also work with the trans community, so maybe over lunch or something, I would love to figure out how I could concretely partner.
Definitely,
Yeah.
eat. Get your sandwiches together.
Okay.
No, join me because I also work for trans. So
Okay.
Ask a question, if I could, to Noni, and from, if that's your name?
Emily?
Emily, okay, to know. I work for many years with the Orthodox gay LGBT community in New York. And I love the fact that your dedication to all the community is great, but the religious is somewhat more interesting to me. For Tehillah, we've just started also in New York, a parents group for Dati and Haredi parents. I'm wondering how that works here. And also, do you have any special relationship or programming for young Dati, religious people that are coming out that don't have support?
We have one group for religious parents. It's a very secretive group. It doesn't meet in the gay center, of course. It doesn't meet anywhere that you can connect it to the theme of the gay. We don't have many parents. I think we have around 15 parents. They come and go. It's very difficult for them. It's not like in the other groups. They don't commit, and it's like a closet within a closet. So our facilitator is a gay mother herself. She has a lesbian daughter.
Orthodox.
Orthodox mother. It's very difficult, and we are trying to publish, the option to come to a secret place that you don't have to say your name, and if you want, you can come with a mask. But it's very difficult. What we get is a lot of phone calls from religious parents, but it's very difficult, to meet them. It's over the phone. You can do as much as you can do, but it's
We
difficult.
had last year Shabbaton for the first time, a weekend in a hotel outside of the city for parents. And they all said in their life, they never thought they would be in a room with other people. Just like you said, that woman, she sat and cried. Because it was alone, only me. And then to see other people, it makes the world change. And everybody here knows the world changes once you make that first phone call.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
and for the
And I'm
yeah.
taking this opportunity because I forgot to tell you before. You all know the project, it gets better.
Mhm.
So we just finished this project in Israel. Tehillah did this project. I will give you afterwards in the brochure, there is the site. We have 12 videos. You reminded me because there is one family who is really religious, and they have a transgender son who just gave birth to a baby. Yeah?
The second one is on
And
its
the
way.
second one is on
he's
its
already
way.
pregnant.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only his parents are talking, but he has a very religious brother, you know, with all the
Paraphernalia.
exactly. And he talks about how he feels about it and about what the rabbis are saying. So I will give you afterwards the site, and you can go in and see the video.
He's also a volunteer in Kosher and goes in
Right.
schools.
Everybody is everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, we have groups of Orthodox religious groups for women and for men. I think that, I mean, what's very interesting about it for me is that I don't have the feeling that only Iggy brings, gives them a place to meet or to get to know each other and Iggy, but also they bring to Iggy something very special. You can see it every time when you have a seminar, courses of Iggy, they take the part of getting the Shabbat, and they bring also things from their life into Iggy, and that's very interesting. Most of the people who come are out of the closet, most of them, but it's also secretly groups. They don't meet here, they meet in different places.
A lot of them don't have access to internet the same way the Orthodox don't have internet. They can't. They don't even know to look for help.
Right.
So,
I think that
If I might.
I think that what if we need to just split roughly the Israeli population, we can split it into three main parts, which will be the Arab Israeli community, the Orthodox and Orthodox Jews, and all the rest. And when we divide it that way, we divide it exactly as you said, by their access to knowledge and services. And in the recent years, as you said, the Orthodox and religious community has started a revolution. They have now groups, they have organizations that I don't know about, but I think that and our hotline is receiving mostly religious or Arab Israeli calls, and I think that one of our challenges this year, and this is something that either Iggy, David, and us are trying hardly to do, is outreach the Arab Israeli community, because they are in the worst case right now, because the Orthodox already started the revolution, and Avi will tell you about
If you give me just a few minutes, because some of the questions are going to be answered, and then we answer. I'll tell you about organizations that are not here, and they are the answer to these issues. First of all, for me, it's very exciting. You know the play All My Sons? So it's All My Sons. I've been when they started the youth movement. I've been when it was Aguda. And I'm only 38. I can't imagine. I would like to tell you about an amazing organization. It's called Adam LeAdam. It's human to human opportunity to give. Usually, what you see here is what we want from society. We want something. We want to change. We want to make some difference. We want to change the laws. We want this and this activity. And then me and some Meshuggah friends of mine, we decided, okay, we need to give something back according to the Jewish tradition of giving back. Help me.
The 10th.
No. Giving secretly, because it's the friends.
Charity.
Yeah, because people need help, are our friends, and we sit in a room of 10 people having coffee. They maybe 3 of them. It's usually people collect things, and it's all posh posh and nice. And then the giving is somewhere, hidden somewhere in the dark. Actually, what we do is everything with giving and taking takes place at the same time. For example, we have 4 times a year we have here events where about 8,000 items of clothing, appliances, toys, everything change hands. And we encourage people that have to come over, pay 2 shekels and take something. This one. And do you this one? This way, our friends in need can come over and just take. We don't ask questions. If somebody says, I need something, they get it. We don't check anything. We don't ask questions. Just nothing. We don't know anything, and we don't want to know. And it's done anonymously. Most people would know me and myself, but they wouldn't know any other of the volunteers. You may get something, you don't know how it landed at your door. Because, as you see, we are a small community. We can divide the people in need from the people who have. So we just combine it. Another one is the shelter that we talked about, the youth shelter. It was established 13 years ago by our first lesbian counselor in the city of Tel Aviv. It's called Bedror. it has 11 beds. It houses disenfranchised youth. They get kicked out, they run away, they're homeless, etc., until 18. Most of them now, they used to be lesbians and homosexual kids. Now most of them are transgender. A lot of them are from the Haredi community and the Orthodox community, because these are the weakest links. The religious community is amazing in Israel. There's 3 organizations, one for Orthodox women, lesbians, one for men, it's called Chavruta, the call is for women, and one is Minyan Gay. Minyan Gay means Pride Minyan. I told you yesterday. Yeah, wait a second. I didn't finish. Sorry. Wait a second. You know they don't show all 4. Okay, Minyan Gay, it's amazing. When we started here, Zoe called me, of course, when she calls, I come, I don't troubles. Come help me, we will get some Minyan, people get together. We took the seats downstairs, it's a big hall, it can hold, I think, 100, 150 people. So we took some few chairs and we put them in this distance, one from the other. Because we said, the hall is going to be empty, Minyan, nobody knows how many people come. Half an hour, and she was in front, half an hour later I came in and said, Zoe, 300 people are outside, besides the 100 that are inside. This Minyan, this is one of the Chazanim, one of the founders. It's amazing to see, in Yom Kippur, high holidays, it's amazing, really amazing, it's here. And then there is Shuval. You want to say a few words about Shuval? It's better than I do.
Yeah, okay. You spoke about Choshen, about the education and the education system here in Israel. The Orthodox education is a very different system. It's kind of equivalent to what Choshen does, but it's hard to get into the schools. They would not allow a gay person to come talk to the students. So the way to get into the schools has to be in a very different way. First of all, we cannot ask them for money to come in because we want to get in there. Number 2, most of the time, 90% of the times, we only get to talk to the educational staff, which is a big step because up until then they did not want even to identify that there is a gay issue in their yeshivas or in their ulmanas, in the girls' schools or any other educational system that you have in there. And it started off from just a few people. You're going to meet maybe one of them tonight, Abigail, that she said that she wants to make sure that she will not have the same, when she came to her rabbi, to her teacher, and she said she was a lesbian, they wanted to marry her off immediately. That was the first response. So you could see you got to get married. And today we could say I'm a member of the committee at Shuval, and we have about 60 volunteers. And we go to army bases, to religious units, and also sometimes Tehillah calls us up when they have when they want to hear also the Orthodox point of view of story. And in the past year, we did over 50 sessions in different places, which is
it's a dream.
It's a dream. Like I know that if if somebody would come to my school, my rabbi would know, just how to talk to a student that comes, how to address it. So maybe it would be different. So we're growing. So we started from a few people up to about 60 volunteers, and that's Shuval.
Another organization is called Raduga. Raduga means rainbow in Russian. They operate, the site is one of the largest, with most Russian entries in the world. It's one of the, wait a second, I have to arrange the sentence. They run a site, a Russian LGBT site, is one of the most visited sites in the world. And they run it from here. Of course, it's run by women. If it's working, it's run by women. And they meet here, and it's a Russian, they have like 60, 80 people coming, they have like 5 activists. But the site is amazing, and I'm sorry I can't read it. But you can go in and you see hundreds a day, thousands in Russian from all over the world and from Russia. Some of the Russian activists came from Russia to Israel in Pride in Jerusalem. It was very empowering to see them because they go into help, back to help. We have 2 Arab-Israeli organizations. One is Al-Kaus, which is in Arabic means the rainbow. It's LGBT organization, and there is another one, Aswat, it means voices. It's women, lesbian men.
They work with Choshen.
Okay, that's a different issue. It's a political issue. We'll talk about it later. What is that? Self-definition. As you see, we never agree on that. There is another form of group that is forming now, as a result of the so-called solution of the shooting. As it happened, it involved some form, that form or another of sexual abuse, if it happened or not. No way of saying. Anyway, it's an issue that wasn't really addressed publicly within us. You're like the Jews in the diaspora. It's a Jew. The Jews did something. They think all Jews are like this. So there is a group now forming. It's forming right these days in the past 2 months. It's going to be the address that it's okay to talk about sexual abuse within the homosexual men community. That's where it happens. This is the place not to use the word LGBT because it rarely happens with the lesbians. It may happen 1 in a million, but it's usually men, prostitution with youth, etc., etc. So it's forming now. And I'm sure there are a few more organizations that I forgot. We're Jews, so every 2 Jews form an organization, and that we don't agree about. So just give you a brief. Now it's the questions. The floor is yours.
If I want to send donations to this organization from the United States, I do that.
Which organization?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
we have to pick.
Yeah, I don't know which. I mean, every organization.
When we are done, we get back, we will send you the links on how we go to donate.
Do you have a suicide hotline?
Yeah, we have an hotline working for many years right now. Working 5 days a week, every afternoon, and we have now expanded. We'll have a social worker 24 hours on call since we just had a recent survey in Israel checking suicide attempts around all of Israel since the government announced a national program to prevent suicide.
Yeah.
The study was shocking since they found out that more than 50% of the LGBT youth in Israel is in risk of committing suicide, and more than 40 as attempt, at least once. So we built a program with the Ministry of Health, and we are hoping that they will fund it. So we will start, but the hotline is working to Eli's part of it and helping very much, especially with this with the parents. So it is a big issue in Israel.
Yeah. So I think United States too, the suicide rate around 18%, especially the gay teens that come from small towns, which the United States.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so echoing Manny, thank you for hosting this session. We're all grateful for that. Also, I was really struck by the comment how there were no murders of, and now, is that of LGBT people in general?
Yes. Yeah.
And how do you, I have a couple questions, but how is that, how, do you really know that, or is that just sounds like propaganda? It just sounds like it's not, because where I'm from in the United States, there not only are there murders and hate crimes in the States, but we hear about it worldwide. So when you have the Day of Remembrance, it's for everybody, right? And the second question or thing I'd like to address is, you mentioned that you work with Arab Israelis. I'm not sure what that means. What does that mean? And also, do you have any Arab Israeli people on staff here or as volunteers? And is there a gay community there? Because I see lots of representation of people who I don't know. It doesn't really strike me as necessarily being Arab Israeli, but I'm naive to that. So thank you.
About murders. First of all, Israel is very small. It's like the population of New Jersey. So that's one thing.
With a lower crime rate overall. No, the murder rate is low here.
It would be very comfortable for me as an activist if there were murders. It would be good for me because then I could go and say, oh no, there's murders, but what can I do? It's not propaganda.
You believe the answer. That's the question.
We never had.
All I know is what you say, so I'm just chipping away at it